Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel, and for today we have a new skill practice what I like to call a baby macaco. So a macaco is one of some acrobatic movements that you can practice, but for today we're not gonna really learn the macaco. We want to just learn how to stabilize on our shoulders, especially on one arm when we're rotating on it, and this have a direct transfer to how your handstand practice is. And in the previous video, if you have been following the series, I was teaching how to do a beast hop, which is in the animal flow world, which is I'm actually a level 1 animal flow instructor. So I'm using some animal flow movements here. And earlier we were doing a beast position. This time, just to complement it and not just focus on only one plane of motion, we also want to develop the other side of things where we are going to be doing this in a crab position or technically a macaco. All right, so as always, I want to talk about how our hand placement is, how our shoulders are, so that we have a direct transfer to our handstand practice. And when we're doing a handstand, we're always pushing tall. If this is neutral, I'm pushing tall, shoulders come up to the ears, almost like I'm hugging my ears with my arms. Maybe my gaze will be looking directly through my eyebrows towards my hands, and that gives us a sense of where our body is in space, and that's very important in our handstand practice. All right, so I'm gonna show you first what a crab looks like in our animal flow library. So facing here, I'm just going to find my bum on the floor and make sure my feet is nice and flat and strong. Okay, if you have any ankle problems, make sure you find your rotation of the toes. You don't want any impingement on the ankles or on the knees. All right, so as you find your strong position, you can place your hands behind you. Maybe fingers are pointing forward, maybe diagonal, maybe even east and west. See how your wrists are after a few movements. Okay, so I'm going to just start with our crab position. Arms are about shoulder distance apart or wider. Make sure you can almost grip the ground so your fingers are not closed. Yeah, it's not closed, it's not too open, just enough that you can almost grip the ground, and then elbows are straight. We don't want to bend on the elbow. Also, we want to push down and keeping some tension on the shoulders to stabilize it. And maybe rotate your shoulder up and back so you can squeeze the middle back together, open the chest, and then you can start to push the ground away so your bum lifts off. Okay? This might feel awkward and unfamiliar in the beginning, so take some time to figure out how far your hips are in between your legs and arms, and if you're too spread out or too narrow. Okay? It will feel awkward either way, so find your perfect crab, as we call it. All right. So as I find my crab position, I'm going to try to lift one arm. Okay? So I should be nice and stable here. I'm not leaning towards on one side because it's also going to hurt your wrist. You're somewhere in between, and this is where the challenge happens on your core. Because the moment that you transfer from 4 points of support to 3 points of support, everything changes. Your brain is like, okay, what's happening? How do I distribute the weight across 3 limbs? And you might again take some time here. Just find your stability by doing some kind of a march, lift, land, lift, land. And try not to shift the weight too much or change your posture or maybe even lifting up the hips. All right? After you have done that, you're going to lift up the arm, extend the arm in front of you, palm facing up, so that you can reach up towards the ceiling. We can call this like a rotary arm or an arm to swing so that we can create some upward momentum. All right? Be careful to not lean too much back on your legs and stay shoulder above the wrists because this is our strongest position. All right? And from here, we're just going to practice swinging the arm up, up, and notice your hips want to join in. And this is where also your shoulders gets tested. The moment your hips lift off, you're gonna feel a lot of intensity here and some stability issues. And that's why I made another video called the reverse tabletop position or drill. And we're still working on 4 points of support as we lift the hips up. If this is too challenging for you, check out that video first and practice that first. All right? So, coming back, crab position, arms are lifted. We're going to lift and maybe bring the hips up. Okay? As soon as we reach the ceiling and our hips fully open, we can just practice first walking our hands around that shoulder, and as we come down, maybe you're facing a 45-degree angle, maybe you're facing directly to the outside. That's okay, as long as you tried to rotate outwards and around your base arm. Let's do that again. I'm going to lift up the arm, raise hips, and then walk, 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 walk around as far as I can go. Okay? Very important thing to note here is we want, again, very stable shoulders. You don't want it to be moving around. You don't want your elbows to bend at all. Okay? If you have any wrist issues, play around with your hand placement. If it's directly behind, maybe open it a little bit diagonally, maybe to east and west, so it can give you a little bit of rotation margin. Okay? Let's do that with a little bit more of a hop. And up, one, and whew. There you go. So you'll notice that that's a lot more explosive, and you don't have to go there immediately. You can practice that slowly, creating some momentum, creating some power, creating some comfort at least, or confidence that you're gonna be able to land softly. It's a lot of coordination to practice this skill, and you might want to take it by stride. Okay, you have to look at where your hands are going, how your feet is jumping off the ground, how your shoulders are rotating, how you're stabilizing with the shoulder. So take it by stride. All right, let me do again what I was talking about with the shoulders. So we want to have nice stable shoulder, and remember I was asking you to keep it above the wrist. And as I come up, okay, as I jump or rotate on the shoulder, what we don't want to happen is this or this. Okay, what happens is the more you shift your weight forward and back to your legs and to your arms and your legs and your arms, that's creating a lot of energy for you to use to bring it back to your stable position. Otherwise, the trajectory of your movement will drastically change, and you're going to be wondering, I just keep hopping and nothing's happening. So make sure first you have a nice, strong, stable shoulders, and if you bend the elbow also, it's gonna give your brain a sense of fear and danger that, okay, I'm not safe. I'm not gonna allow you to jump high and rotate on that shoulder. So automatically, even if you are so willing to do it, your body will just stop you and nothing's gonna happen. And it's gonna be quite frustrating. And I know how it is during my first practice of this, especially on the backflip. It's just the body doesn't want to do it however you want to do it. So make sure you practice all these key points. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot it in my DM or in the comment section, and let's talk about it. All right, let's do it a few more reps so you can see how it looks. And something like that also can allow you to just play around with how you fall. Don't resist it too much, otherwise it's gonna be hard and maybe can be an injury recipe for injury. Let's do that on one side angle, and here, 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's talk about landing. You want to land on the ball of your feet. If you land flat or maybe on the heel of the foot, it can send quite a shock towards your brain. It's not a good feeling, and maybe some bruising can happen. So try to practice first being on your toes, okay? And land as softly and quietly as you can. All right, that's one thing. And also, we also want to practice how our gaze travels as we perform the movement. Remember, when we are in this position, we are looking at the hand. As we swing it up, we're looking at the hand still. The moment that we travel or lift up the hips to jump, we want to transfer that eye gaze towards the base of the hand or to the floor. Because where our eyes go, our body will follow. Let me demonstrate that. And eyes on the hand, eyes on the hand. And as I lift my hips up, I'm looking my gaze now towards the floor, to my hand, and that gives me a sense of awareness where I am now in space. All right, try that out and let me know how it goes. All right, so that's it for today's video. If you learned something new, let me know. Otherwise, if you have any specific questions about your body, about your injury or something, let me know and let's maybe do a video call about it. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love, guys.